Um, so this is my first time up here speaking. Thank you. And just a quick question, was anybody else scared shitless the first time they came up here? Just me? Okay, so I'm not alone. Does it get easier? Maybe, okay. All right, so when I first found out that I was speaking, it was a couple months ago when we were just getting the schedule ready for everything, and I walked into the office and I saw my name on the infamous whiteboard, which is where we put all of our people to be scheduled, and I thought it was a joke at first, and then I came quickly to realize that it was not a joke. So I had a couple of thoughts run through my mind at first. First one was, oh shit. Second one is, how am I gonna get out of this? What am I gonna do? I literally thought of everything, because you can't just tell Jim Dubel, no, you're not gonna be up here and speak. It's kind of an impossible thing to do. So I literally thought of everything. I thought of what illness can I get that'll keep me out of this. I already had my appendix come out last summer, so that one was out. I thought about maybe I'll go to the bar and get a few drinks and come up here a little drunk or be too drunk to come up here. And then I decided to start a 30-day cleanse on April 1st, so that cuts out any type of alcohol. So that option was out. So then once I finally kind of accepted my fate that I was going to be up here speaking, the next thought that went through my head was, well, what am I going to have to say to these people who have been like my family for my entire life and who have had so much more experience than I have? This month is actually my first year in practice, marks that official. So thank you. So yeah, what do I have to say to these people who have had so much more experience than I have? And then the next thing that came to my mind was, I may have only been in practice for a year, but I've been involved in chiropractic for 28 years. And that is the span of some people's entire career. So once I kind of realized that, then I kind of knew what direction I was going to go in with this. And what I've learned over the past 28 years is, number one, that I love chiropractic. And number two is that I love helping people with chiropractic. I always knew that growing up with chiropractic, we were a little bit different, my family and I. I could always see that, my friends were always getting sick and they were always missing school, going to the doctors. Their parents were always feeding them medications. But when it came to my brothers and I, we knew that when we were sick, we would just run to dad to get adjusted, whether that was going to the office or running into his bed in the middle of the night to wake him up because we weren't feeling well. And I'm sure that made him very happy all those years that we did that. But yeah, we didn't really know why chiropractic made us feel better. We just knew that it did. And we always had that growing up. And then when I started in high school, I started working in his office with New Beginnings and just helping him with patients. And this is where I really saw that chiropractic helps other people. It's not just us, it's helping other people. And it was just seeing the typical things like people not even being able to walk into the office. When they came out of the room, they were standing up a little bit straighter. They had smiles on their faces. To different things like my dad coming out of the room and saying, oh, got another one pregnant, mark that one down. So just fun little things like that. I just started to learn that it really helps everyone with everything. And I still didn't really understand all the science and everything behind it. And it was then that I really decided that I wanted to go into chiropractic. I kind of always had this dream that I was gonna meet a guy, get married, and force him to go to chiropractic school. So I'll have chiropractic in my life that way. Obviously, the marriage thing isn't really working out so well for me at the moment. So I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna become the chiropractor myself. And so since high school, I always had the dream that I was gonna go to school, went through grad school with that as my focus, and then finally after that I went to Sherman. That's where I got my degree. And when I started there, that's when I started to learn the science behind it all, and that it really does benefit your whole body. It's not just about the back pains and the headache and not feeling great. It's really about total body wellness, which is amazing in my opinion. And then when I started seeing people in clinic is when I start to see how I could help them with this. And it was towards the end of my time at Sherman when I started to think about what my practice was gonna be like. And of course I had this awesome vision that since I was moving back home to where I grew up, everybody that I knew since I was little was gonna be lined up at my office, the waiting room was gonna be packed, people were gonna be banging down the doors to come in and see me. And first day in practice that I had my license, nobody. So obviously that dream and reality did not really line up as well as it should have. But yeah, first couple days in practice, I didn't have anybody. So I was so anxious to get people in that finally one day the phone rang and I happened to answer it, and it was a new patient on the phone. And they wanted to come in because they were experiencing low back pain. So of course, I scheduled them for myself, hung up the phone, and I was like, oh shit, now what? So I'm trying to go through my head of all the case history questions I need to ask them, all the ortho exams that I need to do with them, and I have a million things running through my mind at once, but at the same time, it felt like my entire education that I had was totally erased. So I had a million things and nothing going through my mind at the same time. So patient comes in, I get through the case history, I get through doing some ortho things with her, I get her down on the table, and I'm doing the spinal exam, and she looks up at me and she goes, oh, by the way, I have something called ankylosing spondylitis. Have you ever heard of it? And I'm like, oh, yeah, thanks, good thing to know. So now I'm trying to think of everything that I learned about AS in school and just how to do all that. Long story short, I adjust her and she feels a little bit better. So I'm like, okay, she's still alive. Maybe I kind of like can do this. So I keep her coming back the rest of that week. And by Friday she comes in and she goes, you know, Dr. Stephanie, I have to tell you that before I started coming to you, I was taking medications all day, every day, just to get out of bed, to go to work, just to make it through my day. I was taking painkillers and all these other things. And today is the first day that I was able to wake up and not have to take anything. And that was when I was like, oh my God, maybe like I can do this. I know what I'm doing. So that was pretty incredible to have as one of my first patients. And then after that, I needed more people to be in my office. I needed to take care of more people. And I'm gonna leave you guys with a quote, just make this short and sweet, but I'm sure you hear my dad say this a lot, but the power that made the body heals the body. And I think that if we just keep believing that and reinforcing that to our patients, that we're gonna be able to keep continuing to help people and change the world the way that we are. So thank you.
Stephanie Dubel.